Hey everybody, welcome to Kimmel's Irish Pub. Time for another movie review. Tonight's movie, Charlie Says. So this is not so much about Charlie Manson as it is about the three girls that went to prison and got the death penalty. And then the death penalty was lifted in whatever state this is, and they got life in prison. And then they show some graduate student, I believe, goes in to like interview them or work with them, and it shows their transformation of them. And how they renounced Charlie, and throughout the whole thing. So 5.8 on IMDb. Matt Smith plays Charlie Manson. It's the only one and Chance Crawford is in it. It's a person I recognize. Grace Van Dien is in it. She was in Lady Driver, if you've seen that on Netflix. It's all the I recognize. Now, I'm a fan of these stories. I don't know how accurate they are. I've seen Helter Skelter. If you haven't seen that, check that out. And anything that has it. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which is completely fictional, of course. And I even seen the Hilary Duff, Sharon Tate story, which was like, I think, a Lifetime one or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going into it. So I'm always interested in this. It's crazy what this guy was able to manipulate people to do. So I'm going to get into it here, find out what it's really about, and then give you a better idea. As I mentioned, what did I say, 5.8 on IMDb? So low expectations, but let's see what it's about. Stick around. I'll be back. Hey everybody, I want to do a quick check-in. We're watching Charlie Says. We're at the 1 hour and 26 second mark. So there's just under 50 minutes left. Pretty long. At times it does seem a little bit slow. I'll start off there, but so what happens is they show two girls and one guy walking out of the woods, or they're first eating. I think it's what it is, and I'll just say it's after the murders, and because then they get picked up by somebody. They hitchhike. They pick them up. They take them out to breakfast, and then it flashes forward 3 years, and they're in prison. So I think we're going to lead up to that point in the timeline. So they're in prison, the three of them, and as I had mentioned, they're held. They're supposed to be on death row, but then they abolished the death penalty. So now they don't know what to do with them. But they're being segregated because they don't want them in general population. So they're the only three there, and that's where the college student comes in and is now interacting with them, trying to give them some college education, and you could see how they were and how they believed in Charlie even after the 3 years and everything that he said, and how she's coming to learn a little bit about the stuff that they believe in and helping them realize what had happened to them, how they were brainwashed. So that's the foreground, and then they're flashing back to their time at the ranch. So it really centers on Lulu. It's not. She gets probably most of the storyline when they're at the ranch, but it shows all of the girls. And the interesting part is, in some movies it's different, but in this one they show how girls, didn't fully, or even guys, didn't fully believe, in the cause, the things that were going on at the ranch, and Charlie had to win them over, if you will. It shows how other people come to the ranch and he kicks them right out. Doesn't accept everybody in. So it's not like everybody just followed him endlessly. There were times where people didn't. They fought with him. There were times where people were upset with what was going on. That kind of stuff. And that shows in here. It is heavy on the sex side. So beware of that. A lot of nudity and stuff, which was, I believe, the case in this. But it's in this. I don't know what this was rated, but I didn't even pay attention. But that's a lot in here. As they're all about love in the Manson family, and being one consciousness and killing your ego kind of stuff. So that's where we are. So he still, working there. We don't have any plans on what's going to happen thus far with the murders and stuff. It's more about them living in the ranch, loving Charlie kind of stuff. And that's where we're at. So that's it. That's all. Just to catch you up real quick. Like I said, there's 50 minutes left. I won't go on any further. But you know, like there's 3 girls in prison. So they're really focusing on Lulu. Kate is the other one, and I think Sadie. But we don't know their storylines, and it might switch here, and we learn a little bit about them. We don't learn about their backgrounds so before the camp. But you see what happens while they're in camp, kind of stuff. I don't know. I'm rambling. I'm going back to the movie. Sorry about that last piece. But I'll get back to it. If anything interesting happens, I'll check in again. If not, I'll see you at the credits, give you my final thoughts. But so far, pretty interesting. All right. Hey everybody, we're at the end of Charlie Says. Sorry, Suki Waterhouse was also in this small part, but I like her in a lot of different things. Anyway, we're at the credits of Charlie Says, and I still really enjoyed it. I mean, there's some things that, you know, I think for those, and I don't know this for sure, but for those who really know all the details of everything that has happened, I'm sure there's some inconsistencies between what we've seen on the screen and what was, you know, what we know that is true. I don't know what those could be, and I'm sure there's some things in here that it's like, oh, that didn't really happen, kind of stuff. But the gist of the story, if you're going to focus on that, and you know, they really try and focus on the girls more than Charlie, although he plays a pretty big role in it anyway. I thought the guy did a pretty good job of playing Charles Manson. You know, I thought there's times he was good, times not so much, but you know, the 3 girls story is pretty good, and what they do there, I think they try and do, not a spoiler alert, but just to prepare you, is you want to feel sorry for them. I mean, that's what they want you to do. They want you to feel sorry for them, because you see their transformation from like, wow, I can't believe Charles Manson is the greatest, until it's like, wait a minute, really? We can't become elves? Those kinds of things. So it's interesting. Now, some other things that, whatever, I found in this movie, as I mentioned, it's a lot about Lulu or Leslie. So we get a lot of information on her throughout. I mean, just to follow her a lot while she's at the camp. Again, no backstories on anybody. And Kate as well. Sadie, so they, as she's interacting in prison, like, she's kind of left. You know, like, there's something, she's kind of separated from the other 2, as you see it visually. And it's like, okay, there's something there that wasn't told in this story that I think they could have. Why are the other 2 a little bit closer, even 3 years after they're in prison, than she's not as much? And you'll see it on the screen. And then, you know, in good, you know, movies about real life or based on true stories, at the end they give you a little bit more information. They give you a little bit more information about the college student, or whatever, the adjunct professor, whatever she was, about her, and what happens to her after this movie ends. And then it touches on all 3 of them. And they don't have a lot. They have a little bit on Sadie, you know, and what has happened. Nothing major. But then they go over Kate or Patricia. There's a lot of information on what has happened with her. And then they went to Lulu, who we spent the most time focusing on, and it's like one line. It's like, what? You know, there's no additional information about her, and I don't know why that happened. Now, they do have, you know, the final scene, what they do, like after they give her a blurb on what's going on with her, they show another scene. And if you watch the movie, I like what they did there. I thought that was pretty neat. Pretty ingenious the way that they, not ingenious, but I liked it. Put it that way. I thought so. So, all in all, like, I'm almost at a 7 on this one. You know, I think the over-the-top sex scenes kind of drives it down a little bit for me. I mean, we didn't need to see it that often, that much. I get it. That was part of his whole, you know, thing that he had going on there, and, you know, and everybody, I get that. But I mean, I think, you know, you could allude to that and still keep it a little bit more tasteful, as much as a Manson movie could be. But, you know, all in all, if you're interested in it, again, I don't know much about the facts, but if you're interested in this, and this piques your interest, the whole story, Sharon Tate, the Mansons, the camp, all that stuff, I think you'll find this interesting. I did. So, there you go. And it was from a different perspective, somewhat. You know, more the girls than it was from Charlie himself. So, there you go. There you have it. It still baffles me how a man can control that many people to that extreme. Unbelievable. And I know there's others out there, but you know what I mean, there's people who do horrible, horrible things, but like the way he did it, and he didn't, you know, he didn't do any of the murders. He just made them do it, and that's all fact. That has nothing to do with the movie. And I'm sidetracking here. I apologize. Let's not get down that road. If I helped you out and you feel like you're gonna watch it, let me know. I'd love to hear your comments. If you do watch it and you want to drop me some lines, let me know what you think. I think it's higher than 5.8 that IMDb says it is, but that's me, and I could be wrong. I've been known to be wrong many, many times. All right, now I'm rambling on. Again, if you want, drop me a line, send me some comments, and of course, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. If you want to, you can hit the like button, and more importantly, tell everybody else about what a great channel this is. All right, I'm sorry. Hopefully this was educational or helpful in some way, and I'm going to check out now. Thanks for tuning in. Kimmel's Irish Pub.